"You don't belong here, old woman. This is for real veterans." Those words cut through the cold air like a bayonet. The security guard didn't yell them. He didn't need to. His tone sharp, dismissive, and loaded with years of unspoken bias did all the damage. People standing in line averted their eyes. Some shifted awkwardly. Others snickered under their breath. A few even nodded, as if silently agreeing. But the woman they were all looking at didn't flinch. She didn't argue or try to defend herself. She just stepped back into the biting wind, clutching the carefully folded flag tighter to her chest. She was tiny, frail, wrapped in a faded army jacket that looked older than most of the people around her. Her breath clouded in front of her face as she turned slowly and walked back down the marble steps of the National Veterans Museum. Her name was Evelyn Carter. She was 87 years old, and she had survived 2 wars. Behind her, the ceremony inside was already starting. A children's choir struck up a soft rendition of "God Bless America," while slides of medals and waving flags flashed across giant LED screens. Outside, Evelyn lowered herself onto a nearby bench, the cold seeping through her bones, her gnarled fingers still wrapped protectively around the flag. The same flag that had draped her brother's coffin in 1952. She had waited for this day. December 7th, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. The one day every year when the museum opened its doors to all veterans. No charge, no reservations needed. Just bring your story, bring your scars, bring your memories. And still, it hadn't been enough. Evelyn had woken before dawn that morning, pressed her jacket, polished the boots she hadn't worn in a decade. She didn't drive anymore. Her vision wasn't what it used to be, but she mapped the bus route carefully, 3 transfers, timed down to the minute. Her granddaughter offered to drive her. Evelyn refused. Some journeys, she believed, were meant to be made alone. She had stood in line, shivering but proud, watched younger veterans walk through with crisp salutes and polished medals. When her turn came, she greeted the young security officer with a smile. "Morning, son," she said gently. "I'm here for the tribute." He barely looked at her. "Military ID?" he asked flatly. She hesitated. "I served in Korea, 1st Cavalry, in Vietnam, with the 5th Medical Support Unit. I have my records at home, but I brought this." She held out a black and white photo. A girl barely 20, standing straight in uniform, boots covered in red clay, a wide grin on her face as helicopters roared in the background. The guard didn't even glance. "No ID, no entry. Those are the rules." She tried again. "Son, You could be anyone," he interrupted. "Please step aside. We've got people waiting." The woman behind her scoffed. Always some homeless vet trying to get in for free. That stung more than anything else. Evelyn wasn't homeless. She lived in a modest apartment in Arlington, alone, on a pension, but she didn't say a word. Her spine stayed straight as she turned, walked slowly away, and sat on the bench outside, trying to ignore the cold that crept deeper now, not just into her skin, but into her bones. Across the street, a woman in a tailored coat lowered her sunglasses and stared at the scene unfolding. Her name was Lt. Colonel Simone Bennett. She didn't say anything at first, just watched, then slowly reached for her phone. 3 miles across town, in a government building shielded behind high security and coded elevators, General Nathaniel Brooks was reviewing logistics for an upcoming deployment. A 4-star general, career soldier, and the type of man whose voice could still a riot. He was reading a memo when the knock came. "Sir," Bennett said as she entered, "I believe you'll want to hear this." She dropped a thin manila folder on his desk. Inside was a photograph, a name, a story. Brooks read it once, then again. His hands paused over the page. "Evelyn Carter," he said aloud, his voice tightening. "She was turned away this morning. No ID. The guard refused to let her in. Dismissed her." Brooks slowly rose from his chair. He looked out the tall window to the cold sky beyond, then down at the photo of a young soldier beside a medical truck in Da Nang. "Evelyn Carter pulled my father out of a down chopper in '68. Saved his life. He wore her name on a bracelet until the day he died. He turned. Clear my schedule. Get the motorcade ready." 15 minutes later, a line of black SUVs pulled to a stop in front of the museum. No sirens, just flashing lights. A hum of precision and power. Inside the museum, the ceremony was at its peak. Applause rang out as speakers talked about sacrifice, honor, duty. Meanwhile, the same security guard stood unmoved at the door, scanning IDs, proud of keeping out the undeserving. Until the boots came. 4 of them. Then more. General Brooks stepped through the museum's main entrance like a storm cloaked in metals. His eyes locked onto the guard. "Where is the woman you turned away?" The guard blinked. "Sir, you don't know what you mean. You told her she didn't belong. That she wasn't a real veteran. You said that, didn't you?" The guard stumbled. "I just followed protocol." "Did she show you this?" Brooks held up the photo of young Evelyn in uniform. "Yes, but you ever seen a military ID from the Korean War? They weren't made to last. Neither were the soldiers." The museum director arrived, flustered. "General Brooks. What an unexpected—" "I'm not here for pleasantries," Brooks interrupted. "I'm here because a hero sat on your steps in the cold while you gave speeches about honoring the fallen." Cameras flashed. Phones recorded. The crowd stilled. The children's choir fell silent mid-song. Brooks turned to the crowd. "This woman Evelyn Carter served in 2 wars. She treated soldiers under fire. She patched up my father as bullets tore through the jungle. And today, you turned her away because she didn't look the part?" Murmurs rippled through the atrium. "You didn't see her medals because she gave most of them to her brother's widow. Told her the real hero in the family never made it home. She wears one now. Just one. The Bronze Star. The rest live in memory." His voice softened. "I owe my life to her. My father owed his. And yet, she wasn't allowed through your doors." Outside, Evelyn was still sitting on the bench, oblivious to the gathering storm behind her. A soft snow had begun to fall. She blinked at the flurries, her lips whispering names long gone. Then footsteps. Boots. Precise. Familiar. "Miss Carter," a young soldier asked, breath forming clouds. "General Brooks requests your presence." Evelyn blinked. "Brooks?" "Yes, ma'am. If you'll come with me." The soldier offered his arm. She took it. Slowly. Her legs ached. But her back was still straight. As they approached the museum, she saw the crowd. The cameras. The flashing lights. And at the top of the steps, the man in the full dress uniform, for stars gleaming like fire. She stopped. "General Brooks?" she asked. He descended the stairs. "I'm Nathaniel Brooks. My father was Captain Anthony Brooks, 5th Infantry. Shot down outside Hugh, 1968. You pulled him from the wreckage. He talked about you until the day he died." Tears welled in Evelyn's eyes. "Little Tony? He made it back." "He did. Because of you." The general straightened. Snapped into a perfect salute. "Master Sergeant Evelyn Carter, welcome home." Behind him, every soldier in uniform followed suit. One by one, salutes rising like flags. Civilians placed hands over hearts. Silence fell. Evelyn, trembling, nodded once. Then slowly extended the folded flag in her hands. "For all the ones who didn't make it," she said. "And for the ones still fighting." Brooks received the flag as if it were the most sacred object he'd ever held. Then Evelyn Carter, 87, War Medic, Bronze Star recipient, and the quiet giant they had all forgotten, walked up the museum steps, not hunched, not hesitant, but marching. Each step loud and clear. At the entrance, she turned. Not with a wave, but with presence. Her very being was the salute. And as the doors opened and the music inside rose once more, snow swept through the air like memory, like honor, like a nation trying to remember what it had almost let slip away. Evelyn Carter was no longer invisible. She was history alive, breathing, and unforgettable.